Okay, so I should at the moment have the following. So my income uh, and my expenditure figures are all relating, as you can see here, they're referenced to the cells on the relevant worksheets. So anytime I actually, let's say, for example, I now have 30% of my visitors, assuming that they'll buy chicken burgers, the number of sales, as you see, so they went up. So that means I need more chicken burgers as well. So my total cost went up, and my total income has also gone up, which has also affected my total cost and my total income, which would also impact the two figures here as well. The same I would have for my attractions, uh, income for my attractions, and the expenditure for my attractions, and my ticket sales, as well as my advertising. My venue, obviously, there's only one thing which will affect the venue, which will be this drop down menu here. So I've added a drop down list where someone can select the venue we're going to use, in this case, the Grand Marquis. So I'm going to do another VLOOKUP so that I can get that change automatically as soon as I change the venue. So I'm going to use a VLOOKUP, so equals VLOOKUP, open my bracket. What is the value I'm looking for? I'm looking for the value, whatever is in this cell, comma. Where am I looking for it? Let's head over to the venues. Let's select these two columns here. And once it's found the value I'm looking for, which column do I want it to return the information from? In this case, it's the second column. And is this in alphabetical order? It is not. So I will simply put false or the number 0. And as you can see, it's brought up £4,800, which was the price for the Grand Marquis. And if I was to change that to the Winchester room, as you can see, that's changed instantly. Now, I also want to calculate my total income and my total expenditure. I've got my income done here already. My expenditure will simply be equal sum. And let's add up everything here. Okay, let's see if I've made a total profit or loss. So again, equals, you should know how to calculate what your total profit, your profit or loss is. It's actually the money you've taken in minus the money that you've spent. So in this case, at the moment, I've actually made a profit of £2,000 and £2,019. And we should have had an if statement there telling us whether or not that has been profitable or not. So let's do equals if whatever is in D10 is greater than 0, then what we're going to do is we are going to write profit, comma, let's do something called a nested if. So we're going to throw in another if statement inside there. If that is not the case, so if D10 is not greater than 0, then we're going to say if, another open bracket, if D10 is equal to 0, then we will write down break even. And if that is not met, then we will simply write loss. Okay. Okay, I've got two closed brackets there because I've opened up two brackets there due to the nested if. Okay, and as you can see, that will also change if, let's just say, I spend an extra £10,000. As we saw, that's changed to loss. What we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit more easier to use. We're going to actually use something called conditional formatting in here. Conditional formatting will change the format of the cell based on the value inside it. So we will head over to format, conditional formatting, and we will add the rule that if this cell over here is greater than 0, we're going to make sure it goes green. We're going to add another rule to it. If it's equal to 0, we will make it go orange. And let's add another final rule. If it's less than 0, then we will make it go red. Okay, so again, that will change based on that color scheme that we've put in there. We can do the same for profit. Let's add a rule here. Format cells, we're going to say if this contains profit, we want it to go green. If the text contains break, let's get it to go orange. And let's add another rule. If the text contains loss, we will make it go red. Okay, so now if I actually change that to 0, they have both gone orange. And if they're a negative number, they've both gone red. Okay, so I've undone that. So what I've just done there is tested the two out. So that's what we should have so far. If not, please ensure that you've added them. I've also added a drop-down list for my ticket price. And on the ticket price, this is actually whatever is inside that cell. So I can actually remove that data validation to remove the actual drop-down box there as well. I've added another drop-down list so we can select the venue. And I've also added 2 VLOOKUPs. One VLOOKUP, which will bring me the maximum capacity based on what's inside here, and the estimated number of visitors, which is that figure is coming in from tickets B2, which we will be going in and adding a formula there shortly. So that's what we should have for summary. We've also got food. Now, most of you guys haven't got this, but we should have where my number of sales is simply 30% of how many people are expected to come to the event. How many burgers I will actually need is based on my sales and how many I can buy in a pack. My total cost would obviously be multiplying how many packs I need by how much they're costing. My selling price, I've put in my own prices, and my total income is also based on how much I'm selling them for and how much I'm expected to sell. Now, realistically, if you're going to go push this further, you would also possibly have your percentage of visitors buying possibly impacted by the age range of the people, maybe your selling prices if you're selling them too expensive or very cheap. That could increase that or decrease that as well. Attractions, we should have something similar as well. And advertising, if you remember, we put the cost and the impact on the visitors, whether we're going to go ahead with that advertising or not, and the impact it's having on the cost and the visitors. That's incorporated there as well. And the venues, obviously we've got the venues there. There's nothing being calculated there. So tickets, what we've done is we've got our ticket price, we've got our estimated sales. I've added a short little VLOOKUP there, which will tell me exactly how much my price would affect the visitors, and then therefore my total income from the ticket sales. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a formula to this, which will take into consideration everything which will impact my sales. So it will then give me a figure based on everything I can change. So far, what do I have that will impact my sales? I've got the attractions. So the more attractions that I have, obviously it will bring in more people to my event. My ticket price will also impact my visitors. My advertising will impact my visitors as well as my venue. Now, the way you do this is it's down to you as long as there's some justification behind it. What I'm going to start off with is the number 1,000. So let's assume I'm getting 1,000 people anyway. And I'm going to add. So let's simply add sum of all the attractions. So in this case, it's going to add 10%. Okay, let's also add, I've got nothing on my food, nothing on my summary. I've added my attractions. I'm going to come down to my tickets later on. Let's also add the sum of all my advertising as well. In fact, I do not need to add a sum because I've already added that. Okay, so let's add the venue. Okay, so we are going to do, okay, I will need to do another VLOOKUP there. So plus VLOOKUP. So whichever value I'm looking for, where am I looking for it? I don't want it to return whatever's in the fourth column, and it's not in order. Okay, and I'm also going to add for now my VLOOKUP based on the ticket. So I'm going to use this for now. Okay, now what I've done is I've simply added those numbers up. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is think about how that should actually be calculated. So I've got all the figures there. I've only added them up for now. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say 1,000 plus 12%. Okay, so I will actually do 100 plus. I'm going to put these two into another bracket. Okay, and I'm simply going to do 100 plus, sorry, 1,000 plus. Let's add another bracket, 1,000 times. Okay, so I've added all of the impact from my attractions and from my advertising, and I've multiplied it by 1,000. So I've added it onto that 1,000. Okay, and then I will put those two in brackets as well. And then I will simply come back and multiply that by my venue. Let's put that in another bracket as well. And then multiply that by my ticket price. So at the moment, I'm expecting 152 people to come because of my ticket price. Now, if I was to change my ticket price, let's head back to summary and let's change that to 50 pence. Okay, I'm now expecting 2,736 people to come. My current venue, which was a Grand Marquee, would bring me 100% of the people. So now if I increase that to 300, or if I change that to Richmond Park, I am now expecting to sell 8,208 tickets. Now, Richmond Park for that, for some reason, should have actually brought this up. Okay, so I've done the VLOOKUP. I didn't put down false. So it's actually looking for something in an order. So now what I've got is I've got a maximum capacity of 3,000. I've actually gone over my maximum capacity. So I'm going to add something called conditional formatting again to make this go red based on the maximum capacity. So let's go ahead down to format, conditional formatting, and I'm going to add a rule on this 3,000. And I'm going to say format this cell if it is less than whatever is in cell E17. And if it is, I want it to go red because we have too many people coming to the event. So now what this does is this allows me to play around with my figures. I'm expected to have 31,000 profit. However, I am expecting too many people coming to to the event itself. So I need to find ways that I can reduce the number of people. So I may want to increase my ticket price. So let's bring that up to £2, and that's brought my number of people down. Okay, and now if I bring it down too much, it will mean I have a loss. So I may need to play around with a few things, and that at the end of the day helps me to make a decision on what I'm going to do at my event. So we should have something like that. What we will be looking at later on is how we can make it slightly more easier to use. But for now, what we will be doing is we're going to keep it like so, and we can play around with it until we know exactly what we want. But I will be adding one final thing to that, and then we would have a decent spreadsheet there.